see it. HBCU is where to be. We can be, or we're still family.
My HBCU better than yours. My HBCU better than yours. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What is really happening? It's your boy, your cousin, your uncle, your best friend. It is A. Harris Brown, and you are here for another edition of the HBCU Man Cave. Now, listen, I got a new intro I want to try out for you. It's where grown Black men gather to build, to vent, to laugh, and love on each other while talking about things about manhood, mental health, and the culture. Again, the Cave is where we uplift, educate, and celebrate the legacy of HBCUs as a band of brothers where we can relate, relax, and release. Now, welcome to a space, y'all, where healing meets wisdom and hype, and which also means real talk. Yeah, we're gonna have some real talk today. Yep, we're back. We're back to the He-Man Woman Haters Club. I shouldn't say it like that. Thank you, ladies, for shouting us out. For allowing us to shout you out all during the month of March, during Women's History Month. But now we are tuning our focus back to the brothers, and you are tuning in, whether you're from your living room, your car, or somewhere on campus. Thank you for tapping into tonight. Is going to be another good one. Now listen, now you know I don't do this alone. I got some help in the man cave. So y'all, please let me welcome once more and again my good brother, the soon-to-be Dr. Shane K.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. I am happy. I'm good. I'm alive. God is good.
Oh, he really is, and all the time.
And all the time, God is good.
I know that's right. I
Yes,
know that's right. Bruh, so listen. Now, again, found out that our good brother Kevin, he's still doing his thing. I'm going to wish him well as he's working on his PhD program.
Yes, sir.
He couldn't make tonight, but that's all right, though. We'll keep him lifted because he'll get this work done. He going to get it done.
We believe he's going to get it done. Yep.
All right, so now, Shane.
Yes,
you're
sir.
in a different locale today.
Mm-hmm.
You are all the way in Miami, Florida.
Yes, you already know. Hometown is just 3 hours from now. You know, I'm up in Tampa, but I'm in Miami right now.
So, all right. So before we dive into today's topic and this week's conversation, you know, we got to ask the question we always ask you here in the cave. Shane,
yes, sir.
What's in your cup?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked. So right now I'm sipping on Hennessy VS Cognac with a splash of orange juice, because you know we in Miami, we in Florida. So yeah.
As we take a sip.
Yes, sir.
Now, I got the bottle says fitness water.
What's in that cup? What's in that cup? What's in that?
This ain't fitness water, bro.
What you got over there, man?
I just got some. This just some good old happy juice.
Oh Lord,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
You gonna after the show? I'm gonna ask you.
All right, so listen, bro. Today's topic. We are going to be talking about the question of the day is, where are the brothers? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going to be the heart of today's conversation, and we're going to be unpacking something that's been brewing for a little while, and it made big news recently in the New York Times article on Howard University. Now, get this: 81% of their students are women, and only 19% are men.
Ooh.
But it's not just Howard. It's a trend across HBCUs and higher education in general. So again, tonight's question is very simple, but it's deep.
Right.
Where are the brothers, and how do we bring them back into the fold?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now we're gonna have some articles we're gonna bring up in a minute after we bring in our guests. And we're gonna talk about enrollment, we're gonna talk about recruitment, belonging, pressure,
A sense of
access,
purpose.
and equity. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, and to help us do this, we got a very special guest that I've had a chance to hang out with all week. Y'all, so let me introduce this good brother. His name is Roger Gray the Fourth. Get excited. Again, he is a proud, you'll see why in a moment. He's a proud Tuskegee man, a champion for access and a voice for opportunity. Mr. Roger Gray IV. Now, he serves as the admissions counselor at Tuskegee University and is known as the man from admissions. I know you can actually go on Instagram right now and look him up at the man from admissions. Yep. So those who are watching us on Instagram right now, shout out to our Instagram followers and viewers, our Facebook, our YouTube, what's really happening. Now, he connects with students mainly across the Midwest of the country. So a lot of times, he was in Chicago, he's been in Cleveland, Detroit, and so many other places. Now, he earned his bachelor's degree in psychology from Tuskegee. Now, that wasn't his initial major when he first got there. Maybe he'll talk about that when he gets here. But he secured his master's in higher education from I think it's from Capella University. Now, he's gearing up for his PhD. Another doctor who's going to be in the room real soon. Starting at Hampton University real soon, if he hasn't already started. Now, his passion is all about empowering Black and first-generation students to find their path and belong. Ladies and gentlemen, to the brothers in the cave right now, please welcome Roger Gray the Fourth. Y'all get excited.
What's really good? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Roger Gray the Fourth, aka the man from admissions for Tuskegee University. Super excited to be here. Happy to be here with my dear friend, Anthony Brown. Happy to be here with new friends, soon to be Dr. Kane. I'm just excited to be a part of the show.
Yes, what's going on, bro? You better get excited.
That's right. Get excited. Get excited. We're here to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
So now, Mr. Admissions Counselor, have you seen some of these articles or some of these glaring numbers about the disparity of men to women, and where are the brothers?
So I've actually, while I have not seen any of the articles that you're referencing in this particular moment, I've actually been living it. Like, I've seen it firsthand. Like, I've been at Tuskegee University for what will be 4 years come this fall, and I have noticed a dwindling number of African-American males at my own university and across higher education as a whole. Like, even as I've been here this week in Cleveland, I've noticed that during my presentations, when I'm going into these high schools, having these conversations, the dominating force in the room is almost always female. And that's not to say there aren't any guys there. That's not to say there aren't any guys present, but the vast majority of my audience has been female. And that's, I'm not going to say that's concerning, but it is peculiar. It is peculiar because now there's a gratuitous amount of women going into fields that were previously dominated almost entirely by men, and that's absolutely no shade to the women that are doing their thing. We absolutely love the fact that so many women are getting into architecture, into engineering, into fields like animal, poultry, and veterinary science, and becoming veterinarians and becoming doctors and things of that nature. We absolutely love to see it. We want to see y'all win the way y'all want to see y'all win. But we just miss the fact that baby brothers and nephew and aunt and all of them are just no longer a part of the conversation the way they used to be. Like, even at Tuskegee, right now, I would wager while our math might not be quite as similar to what's going on at Howard, I would be willing to wager that we were closer to a 75-25 split, leaning female as far as our student population is concerned.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Now, for what it's worth, that's great for them 25% of the brothers that's there. Those guys love it. But
yeah. Oh, it's a good time.
You know,
oh, it's a good time.
Absolutely. But the math is just not what it used to be.
Wow. Okay. So so we're gonna look at one of these posts that came out recently, and I'm gonna pull up one right now. So here's one that was out here. And this is by Philip Lewis. He made a comment. At Black colleges, a stubborn gender enrollment gap keeps growing. He mentioned again, only 19% of students at Howard University are Black men whose enrollment levels are at four-year colleges have plummeted across the board. I want to take a moment and we're going to look at another one where it talks about, and that's from the New York Times article. And then we're going to look at another one that says, here we go. Yes, published on March 30th, before stepping foot on Howard University's campus, Skylar Wilson knew she would see more women than men, but just how many more stunned her. Howard is one of the more elite historically Black colleges and universities in the nation. Is only 30% men and 30% men. 19% Black men. It was like, I was like, wow, said Ms. Wilson, a 20-year-old junior. How is that possible? Howard is not unique. The number of Black men attending four-year colleges has plummeted across the board, and nowhere is this deficit more pronounced than at, hold on, there's more to the story. No, is that the same one?
Yeah,
it cuts off right there. But Howard is not unique. The number of Black men attending four-year colleges has plummeted across the board, and nowhere is the deficit more pronounced than historically Black college universities or HBCUs, with Black men account for 26% of the students at HBCUs, down from an already low 38% in 1976, according to the American Institute for Boys and Men. Now, there are about as many HBCUs as there are Black men.
Sad fact. It is where we are.
I mean, just listening to you read that and actually reading it for myself, I'm a little shocked because I didn't know the percentage is that low. Again, when you look at sports in general, when you look at a sports team at HBCUs, even PWIs, they're Black, right? So majority of them. So that's really shocking to me. And I'm just talking about sports by itself.
Is that the only guys we recruiting?
Right, exactly. Because to me, that only seems like you're recruiting Black guys to play sports and that's it. But is it dealing with access and equity and opportunity that maybe some of our Black men don't understand? I'm only gonna say that because Roger and I have been in Cleveland all week, right? Shane, and like he said, the majority of our audience has been the female. I mean, you may get one or two brothers ask a question or two, but when it came time to actually really complete the application, oh wow,
it was a struggle. We couldn't even get the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh wow. Now,
that's a different Huey P. Newton story. We ain't got to talk about that.
We didn't even talk about the Huey P. Newton boys.
We got to talk about that.
I got a question for both you guys because you guys have been going to HBCUs way longer than I have, right? And you guys,
real quick, so I can let Roger know what. I don't even know if this is a real HBCU, to be honest with you.
Oh my Jesus, here we go.
I'm sorry. I had to go there real quick, but anyway, tell the brother where you went to school.
So I went to school at Virginia University of Lynchburg, up in Virginia, Lynchburg, the oldest HBCU in Virginia.
They got Black folks in Virginia.
Wait a minute. My thing was they got black folks in Lynchburg.
We're not going to talk about it.
He won't talk about it. He won't talk about it.
Because the root of that word feels very questionable.
He won't talk about it. But anyway, go ahead on with your question.
You see, I knew you was going there, but
you couldn't pay me enough to live in a city called Lynch. I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Okay, so
Roger, me and some of the people in the chat, we clowns on this every week.
oh yeah,
I believe it. I believe it. It's a good thing I'm not a regular on the show because he wouldn't like me. No.
From what yeah. So I wanted to ask this question because I think this has something to do with it. It's probably not a large percentage, but it does have an effect, right? Do you believe that there are not enough Black male role models or mentors in higher education setting, or pops or grandpa, and why you think and why not? Do you think we have enough role models to lay the groundwork in today's society for our Black men to want to grasp an education?
So I would make the argument that it's not that there is a lack thereof of Black male role model. Mm-hmm. I would, however, make the argument that the people that are being identified as role models has drastically changed. Mm-hmm. You have to remember that we're living in this post-COVID era where so many of the students that we're trying to reach now are just now getting into a high school environment, are just now getting into a public school environment, and they've been at home for the last 4 years. You know, we're talking about a generation of students, because it's not just the people that's in high school, it's the kids that are just now being introduced to middle school in the same way. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a generation of students that gathered the vast majority of their personality from the internet, from social media. We're talking about a generation of students that has developed their idea of self based on the things that they see while they scroll through their Instagram, while they're scrolling through their TikTok, and whatever other social media platform they're on. You know, we're talking about a generation of students that has this profound attachment to this idea of, I don't need to go to school because I can just be a Twitch streamer. I can just be a YouTube influencer, and I can get all the money I need because people like Jake Paul make $35 million in a year as a fake boxer. You know what I mean? We're talking about a generation of students who are just profoundly attached to this idea that an education is unnecessary. You know, and like it happened just today. Met a young man at one of the high schools I went to, and while he had a great deal of accolades for the conversation that I had with the remainder of his classmates, he was absolutely amazed at the offerings that Tuskegee University has. He was convinced that Tuskegee University was not the place for him because he is determined to be an entrepreneur and to do it by himself. He is 100% convinced that taking advantage of the education that's provided, taking advantage of the internships that we offer at Tuskegee, especially for our business students, he is 100% convinced that there's nothing he can learn from any of those Fortune 500 companies that he can't do for himself at current as it is. And it bothers me to my core to see someone defend misinformation with such fervor, you know? But like I said, it's not like we have an absence of Black male role models that can be looked up to, especially in an educational environment, especially in a business environment or literally anything that is not athletics or entertainment, you know, it's not that there is an absence of those people. It's just that the students, the people that need to have that style of role model no longer identify those people as role models.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
Roger, let me ask you a question. What challenges do Black male students face in the college admissions process?
Man, it's really kind of surprising. Like, I've seen firsthand how Black male students often carry these burdens well beyond just academics. You know, it's not just the grades. It's not just this concept of who am I as a student, because it's no longer just about the A's and B's. It's no longer about the GPA or the test score or anything like that. A lot of them face these systemic barriers. Like, a lot of them are just vexed by this idea of whether the school they attend is underfunded, or they have this lack of access to college counseling in their high schools, or oftentimes it's really just the pressure of being a first generation student and navigating through this sea of unknown possibilities that they just don't recognize as even being possible. But even deeper than that, there's this lack of belief in self. It's this lack of belief in the educators that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis. There's this profound attachment to the media that they're seeing on a daily basis. And again, there's this lack of belief even within themselves. There's this idea that they don't belong in a higher education space. And then you add on top of that the societal distractions, various mental health stigmas. You've got the family responsibilities because mom has that dislocated hip and dad is a disabled military veteran. Everybody's all beat up and everything like that. And then it becomes a little bit more clear that maybe applying to college isn't for me because I've got so many things to deal with at home and I haven't even gotten out of high school yet. There's this necessity to overcome an entire ecosystem of obstacles that so many young men are convinced that they have to face alone.
So what do you think are some things? Well, here's one, because I know you and I had a chance to go to an all-boys school. And I know there were a few students who were interested. I know a couple started the process. I'm not exactly sure where they ended, but what is it like when you were in that particular school as opposed to when we were at the last school that we were at, you know, when it was predominantly mostly young ladies?
So for context, that all-boys school we went to has a great morning routine of bringing all of the boys together, like the entirety of their senior class comes together to have a morning routine where they wake up, they get their day started, they're having these conversations, and they're doing their morning affirmations, which is absolutely beautiful to see. Mm-hmm. Because I do believe that there needs to be a greater routine of instilling positivity into the young Black men in today's generation. What I will say is that the vast majority of the young men at that particular location, while they did at a minimum, you know, put themselves on the mailing list so I could start sending them information regarding my university, the vast majority of the male students I talked to at that location genuinely just seemed like they were there as an excuse to not be in class. You know, there's this strange idea that I can just go to the military and I don't have to go to school, as if the military is not going to require you to obtain some level of certification or education to participate as fully and properly as you need to. They've convinced themselves that I can just go play D1 football. I can go be a D1 athlete. But you have to recognize you are going to be a student athlete. You have to be a student first. You can't play football for an LSU or a University of Alabama or an Ohio State without first being admitted to that school. You know, like that's just not how that works. It's just not how that works.
There are a number of graduates from that particular school and or its sister school that we also went to that have gone on to be NFL greats or collegiate greats. But that's not, I mean, it's not like it's happening for all 30 plus students every year that are on the football team. It's not happening for everybody.
Like if you think about it, what is it? What's the math? Like maybe 1% of the people that enlist to go into like the NFL or play professional sports, maybe 1% of the people that get that application in actually make it to somebody's draft.
It's less than 1%.
It's less than 1%, and even less than that for the individuals that actually make it to somebody's team, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about a 1 in literally any 7 to 13 digit number.
Yep.
Jay, you know, in your neighborhood, he know what he.
You know,
that was Jay. That was Jay right there.
Again, I think it's because even the crazy part is we recognize how rare that opportunity is, which
right?
Is why so many of these boys praise and worship those individuals that make it out of their situation because athletics, and then that becomes their evidence, that becomes their proof that the way out of this situation
is that way.
Athletics. That is their evidence. But we're not going to talk about the other people. We're not going to talk about the Lonnie Johnsons of the world that get up out of their situation and come to a place like Tuskegee and mess around and invent the super soaker.
Oh my God!
Who gets bought out by Nerf. So now concordantly, not only has he invented the super soaker, but his patent has lended itself to the invention and birth of the Nerf gun.
Mm-hmm.
And
nobody sees him as a role model or a hero. Not to say nobody, but the vast majority of these black males.
Lonnie is amazing. I had a chance to sit next to him and have a great dialogue at a gala. And I was just like, y'all, I'm sitting next to the man who created the super soaker. And that was amazing for me.
Right. Because that man gave you your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
You know, like that's so wild to see. Like I remember when I was a kid, I might have been about 5th, 6th grade, and they had just gotten around to like this monstrosity of a super soaker that was probably in the neighborhood of the size of the desk that I'm sitting at right now. And it had a book bag. It had a whole 5-gallon book bag full of water, and it fed into this Gatling gun of a water gun. And you couldn't tell me nothing in the water war, running up and down the street.
I thought we were like Ghostbusters or something with that big old water tank on the back. Anyway, Shay, you must ask a question.
No, I really want to go back to what Roger was saying, because as an individual who made it to the scene of the NFL, can actually tell you and actually give you because when I say less than 1%, you getting that? It's less than 1%. I even want to go back to the military.
Oh, yeah, because he's a military person too. Who's about to retire in less than how many days?
6 days. Right. So it's so funny because the standard has dropped. The standard has dropped because you're talking about men are not coming in and wanting to, gain that education, wanting to be better. Oh, I want to be like such and such. I want to be like Tom Brady. So I'm just going to live off my raw talents and not think about school or whatever the case may be. When it even comes to the military, right now you can enter the military with you don't even have to have a GED.
Really?
Oh no, you don't.
Oh, they're just taking it.
Your AdRev score can be about 14, and you're in the military.
Can you breathe?
Your name on the paper.
That's your name. That's
and
it.
you hold up to 25 pounds.
You know what I'm saying?
Here you go. Here's your uniform. Sending you off to basic
When
next week.
When I joined, and to be an avionics technician, your score has to be like up there, right? My score was 92 out of 99, right? And they threw the book at me. Pick whatever you want to pick. You at the disposal. Pick whatever you want to pick. At that time, I had a college degree. You get what I'm saying? Now you don't even need a GED, and they're picking you up off the streets. When it comes to football, that's the same thing. Like you were saying earlier, you know, somebody made it out the hood, and you'd be like, "Yo, Marshall Faulk make it out the hood, man. I'm just gonna praise him and look at how he did it, and I'm gonna go out there. I don't need school. I don't need education." But if you notice, some of these guys do get their education before they even when they're playing, they're still getting their education, because your education is actually not really a fallback, but it's a foundation to build where you need to go, because sports is not forever. Remember, the NFL is not the National Football League. It's not for long.
And it's funny that you say it that way. It's funny that you say it that way, because like I've had so many different conversations with so many Black boys who swear up and down, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go D1. I'm gonna be D1. I'm gonna be D." That's the only thing they talk about, because they want to go get the NIL deals and all that kind of fun stuff. And that's cute and everything. But let's keep in mind that these places that you're talking about going D1 are oftentimes, more often than not, some of the larger PWIs that have been in business for God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
And they look at me half past crazy when I tell them,
I'm dead. Wait. I'm sorry.
He put it on the screen. Okay, fair enough. Hey, listen, get excited. But these boys be looking at me half past crazy when I tell them, "Oh yeah, they love to have you on the team. They love to have you at their university, so long as you can throw a ball, kick a ball, catch a ball, you know." Yeah. But as soon as your ACL decide it's not getting paid enough anymore, as soon as you need that Tommy John surgery, now your scholarship gone, and university looking at you for that $52,328.92 to be there.
Let me get that back.
Not the 92 cents.
Run me my ducats.
Yep.
Not running back.
Yep.
Right. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to hear that. All they see is the possibility that my kneecaps can get me where I want to go.
Yeah. See, one thing I can hold on to is my dad, because my dad, he never played sports. My dad had never. First of all, my dad didn't even graduate primary school, which is what. Let me see what grade up here. Middle school. He about to be a doctor. Get what I'm saying? And he always instilled in me, for somebody who ain't never go to school, and go to school, have a foundation, because whatever you're going to do, I'm going to support you. But that education is not going to be your fallback. It's going to be your foundation to something that you're going to build towards. Because sports is just for a time. Okay. Your education going to last.
So, Roger, how is Tuskegee University, or Mother Tuskegee, as some will say, working to retain and support male students once they get on campus?
Oh man. So aside from everybody having the opportunity to come harass me in my office, which you are more than welcome to do, baby brother, nephew, cousin, if you got problems, come talk to me. Honestly and truly, you've heard it 1,000 times today that a closed mouth don't get fed. I don't know you have troubles till you tell me you have troubles. If you got a snag, come talk to me. Let's figure some things out. But outside of me, because there's plenty of things going on at Tuskegee that helps retain the Black men that we have. So we do have a long tradition of cultivating strong Black men, not only intellectually and spiritually, but also socially. So we have a variety of mentorship incentives We have our Career Service Center. Of course, we have the Office of Student Success, which are always helping to guide male students through every phase of their journey from enrollment to graduation. Like, we're very intentional about trying to build a better community, whether it's through fraternity life at Tuskegee, whether it's through the various leadership organizations that we're associated with, or even just our student-run clubs. We've got about 159 different organizations on campus, regardless of which there's always a space for young men to be heard, to be seen, and supported.
Awesome.
And with all of our partnerships, with all of the alumni, with all of the friends that we have of the university that want to see this growth, as I said before, we want to see you win the way you want to see you win. Many of these students have access to Black male role models across every industry who are undisputable proof of what is possible.
It's funny you said that, because my next question was really gonna be in that direction for you, Roger. Because I was gonna ask you how important is representation, seeing other Black men in faculty and administration roles like yourself, in fostering success for Black male students. I was gonna.
It's super.
Yeah, it's going.
I'm a alley-oop it. Is what I'm
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That was the alley-oop. I got you.
Right, I'm with you. So, to be very honest with you, I'm gonna go ahead and let them down, because that's part of the reason why I grew them out. It really is.
Yeah.
Because so many of our Black boys are convinced that there is no space for them because they don't see the people that look like them, either in their high schools, in their middle schools. You got to remember, like I said, these kids been at home for the last 4 years. The teachers that they've been communicating with have been in this same platform that we're having this conversation now. They've been virtual. Maybe the camera was off. All of their teachers might be Caucasian males. They may be Asian women. Who knows who those teachers are in those places? But what I represent, not only as a man of color, not only as a graduate of Tuskegee University, what I represent is the fact that you can, in fact, be more. You do have the time, the space, the opportunity to be better. We don't have to just be athletes. Now, was I an athlete in college? Sure. Was that well before I got as fluffy as I am now? Absolutely. But
I can't say you.
the important thing is that these boys see that they are seen, that they see that there are people that look like them, who move like them, who have gone through and experienced painfully similar things as them, that have also decided, I am tired of suffering through this struggle. There are men out there who have woken up on one faithful day and decided, I'm going to be 1% better than yesterday.
Yeah.
And those people have made something of themselves and gotten somewhere that everybody told them they couldn't. And this is just me for any Black man that's watching, for any Black boy that's watching or listening, anybody that's under the sound of my voice. When somebody tells you you can't, I want you, starting today, to look them in the eye and say, watch me. Okay? Because all too often, we not only let the negativity of our environment dictate who we are, we let that negativity dictate our mindset about our own existence. I heard this marvelous saying once: please, please, oh please, do not let your happenings destroy your happiness. It doesn't you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can actually be a product in spite of your environment.
Come on now.
It doesn't have to be because the only people you look up to were the dope boys and the rap stars, because that's what you see on a daily basis. You can be better than them. You can. It is a very real possibility.
Don't let it dictate where you go or how you
always tell the student that you can sometimes, if you can change your environment,
right,
you can change your life.
Sometimes all you have to do is just take a chance. To partner of mine over in Memphis, Tennessee, this is his catchphrase, and I'm definitely stealing it, but shout out to Corey Allen over at HBCU Awareness. You have to take the opportunity to take an opportunity. You have to. You would be absolutely surprised what would happen if you would remove yourself from the environment that has made you the person that you are, and put yourself into an environment that can cultivate the next phase of your existence.
Well, you know what, Roger? Now as you say that, and we talk about the next phase of your existence, let's pull back the curtain just a bit, right? And let's learn a little bit more about you.
Oh, yeah.
So what I know, but Shane doesn't know, and our viewing audience, what inspired your journey to attend Tuskegee in this whole higher education trajectory, and how you ended up in admissions?
So that's actually very interesting. To start, I'm a legacy student. That's at its core, that's exactly what I am. So I was born, raised, and educated Tuskegee.
Like right down the street from where you're sitting right now, down the street.
Yes, absolutely. So my father is a Tuskegee University alumni. My mother is a Tuskegee University alumni. My mother's father is a Tuskegee University alumni. So all of this had been pretty much written in the stars for me well before I was even in a position to even start considering what college I was going to go to. Furthermore, when I was a student in high school, it was right at the start of my senior year, I had received a letter in the mail. I was in my room playing PlayStation, minding my business. I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. I was in there having a great time. My dad comes in the room and says, "Put the game on pause." And I'm like, "I can't. I'm in the middle of a boss battle. I'm gonna die." And he turned the TV off. So lucky me. But he tells me, "Son, you got this letter in the mail today that says you can go to any state-funded school in the state of Alabama for free," which is an absolutely amazing opportunity. But my money's going to Tuskegee. So with that in mind, I would strongly advise applying to Tuskegee University.
Wow.
But even aside from that, because when I was in high school, I studied architectural drafting under who was a dear friend back then. He was a great mentor back then, a gentleman by the name of Ronnie Simpler, rest his soul. I was doing a lot of architecture back then, doing a lot of drafting. And for a moment there, I had every intention of going to Tuskegee University to continue my career and become an architect. But then that gentleman passed away in probably about December of my senior year, and my attachment to architecture just wasn't what it used to be, wasn't what it was. So I made a little bit of a shift because I did have an affinity for the sciences. I do have and still have a strong passion for animals. I figured the best pivot I could make would be based on my passion for animals. And I decided to go to Tuskegee University for animal, poultry, and veterinary sciences, because I decided that since I'm not going to be an architect, I'm going to go be a veterinarian. I can be that. Okay. And I honestly made it through a good 3 years of that curriculum. I was strong. I had done a great deal of research. Speaking of which, shout out to who was then the department chair for animal, poultry, and veterinary sciences, who is now the dean of the entire College of Agriculture at Tuskegee University. Shout out to Dr. Olga Bodentiller, who gave me one of the best work study jobs I had while I was at Tuskegee. She was at that particular junction of time and space the leading researcher for reproductive services, reproductive studies. So I spent a great deal of time doing some jobs that most people don't actually get into until they're really in grad school. Like I'm doing in vitro fertilization for cows, horses, goats, chickens as a sophomore.
Okay, so wait, because Shane and I got questions. We're like, so you spent 3 years in
Yeah.
a program, and how did you get to psychology?
Yeah.
So I got into a fight with a donkey and lost. Yeah, that happened. I also got into a fight with a brown recluse and lost again. So for those of you that aren't aware, the brown recluse is the #2 most poisonous spider in the southeast region of the United States. And I found out the hard way. Believe me, I did the research. Anyway, it was almost like in that particular moment, it was almost like God had come down himself and pulled me to the side and said, hey, boss man, listen, I know you want to be Dr. Doolittle real bad. I know. But I need you to get a desk job. This ain't it. Now you can take your happy hips back out there if you want to. But I can't guarantee you I'm gonna be able to do it a third time. I can't make you no promises. So I would strongly suggest doing something else. Okay. So after that particular incident, I took about 1.5 years off from school.
So you got bit.
Go ahead.
You got bit.
Yeah, like in the eye, like right here. It's tragic. Oh. The fact that I'm here having this conversation is a miracle within itself.
Oh wow!
But regardless of that, I took about 1 year off from school. I explored some standard issue employment opportunities. I went and did construction for a while. And while I was doing that, I fell off a 10-foot ladder, which was not exciting. So at that particular junction, I was like, yeah, let me take my tail back to school because this ain't it neither.
You're working within your purpose right now.
Right. So I came back to Tuskegee University. I changed my major to psychology, which was essentially a hard reset on all of the major work I had done up until that point.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I graduated in 2016, Bachelor's of Science in Psychology, which then led into a prosperous career in the field of sales and marketing. I worked for a company called Smart Circle, which represented something in the neighborhood of about 52 different companies across the U.S. I transitioned from that into insurance sales, where I did property casualty, life and health. I actually have licenses for property casualty, life and health in all 50 states of the United States. So yeah, keeping up with those has been fun and exciting and expensive. I spent a little bit of time over at Hyundai Genesis doing auto sales. I transitioned from Hyundai Genesis to Porsche Audi for a couple of years. So like I've done things, like I've moved product for a great deal of people. And
the fact that he said move product. Did you catch it, Shane?
It's a different type of product. It's a different but like I've done this work for a great deal of people, and while it has been prosperous to a degree monetarily, it's never really felt like it was very purposeful.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity presented itself for me to come back to Mother Tuskegee, this time now not as a student but as a servant, I saw the opportunity to let my Tuskegee experience be the first building block in someone else's Tuskegee experience.
Come on! That's how you became the man from admission.
It absolutely is. So like I got to Tuskegee and I saw where the deficiencies were as far as student population. I saw where the deficiencies were as far as our presence out in the world. And along with the team that was hired right behind me, like we went through the paces, we went through the effort to reconstruct what the face of Tuskegee University looks like. And that gave us an opportunity to bring in. So the first year I worked in admissions, Tuskegee University's Office of Admissions recruited something in the neighborhood of 680 brand new freshmen for the fall of 2022. Taking into account what we learned during that year, we then had an even larger class going into the fall of 2023, which was a grand total of 905 brand new, fresh out of the box students. Going into the fall of 2024, we did it again, or we were painfully close to doing it again. We actually finished in 2024 with right at 890 brand new, fresh out of the box students. And as time has progressed, like we've recognized where the snags are. We've recognized where the chinks in the armor are. And as a team, we've gone through the effort of making the corrections, doing the outreach, doing the research to make sure that we can make this next class one of the biggest and best classes that's ever come to Tuskegee University. Like right now, we're sitting on a retention rate of 81%, which means the vast majority of the students that start their journey at Tuskegee ultimately come back to finish their journey at Tuskegee. And that's because of the love that the people in my office have for the students on our campus. As a matter of fact, I think all but 2 people that are currently working in the Office of Enrollment Management are actually alumni of Tuskegee University.
Wow. That's a good,
right.
Okay. So
shout out to everybody else that's on my admissions, all of my other admissions and recruiters at Tuskegee University, Ms. Holly, Mr. Bell, Ms. Sims, my associate director, Mr. Walker. Thoroughly appreciate your tutelage and your mentorship. But I would be absolutely remiss if I did not talk about Dr. Courtney Griffin. She was actually on the recruitment staff when I started at Tuskegee University.
Come on, Courtney.
So she has left, gotten the degrees, the master's, the PhD, and she's now back at Tuskegee as the director of admissions. And it's just an absolutely magical type of full circle moment.
That's a pillar right there.
Dr. Courtney for allowing Roger to come to Cleveland, Ohio, and all the other places he goes. He does an amazing job. I'm not just saying it because he's on the show today, but he's done a phenomenal job. And I look forward to always, as long as he's there, he is always welcome here in Cleveland, Ohio. But then also, ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we transition to the next segment, I do want to say, he just dropped a quick trivia question, was really cool. And I'm like, hey, all right, fam. And this is one for all of you to know that learning and legacy go hand in hand, right? Now, let me put you onto something fresh. And you to go out and check out the HBCU trivia game. Now, it isn't just any kind of board game. It's a celebration of our culture, our history, and the vibrant legacy of HBCUs. Now, here's what you need to know. You get to dive into questions that cover everything from historical milestones and traditions to fun facts about our legendary institutions. So I'm going to give you one right now. For those who are watching us right now, let's see if you can answer this question in the chat. So the question becomes, who, and I'm going to see if even, Shane, you can answer right now. I'm going to let you put your answer in the chat as well. And the question, and Roger, you can't play on this question. The question is, who are the original founders of the United Negro College Fund? Is it A, Huey Newton, B, Frederick Patterson, D, W.E.B. Du Bois, D, Booker T. Washington, or E, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune? Now, it's more than one, so you can choose 2 answers. I'm going to give it to you again. Is it A, Huey Newton, B, Frederick Patterson, C, oh my gosh, who did I say? W. Du Bois. D, Booker T. Washington, or E, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune? Now, before you answer, let me give you a little bit more information. With every game played, you're not only flexing your knowledge, but you're also supporting Black-owned ventures and the rich culture of HBCU. Now, listen. You can challenge your family, your friends, your crew at game night, tailgates, alumni gatherings, student orientations, all that and then some. Matter of fact, let me show you the game.
Introducing the HBCU Trivia Game. It's more than a board game. It's a journey to the legacy of historically Black colleges and universities. Here's how it works. 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up. Starters as freshmen and roll the dice to advance. But here's the twist. You can only move forward by answering trivia questions about HBCUs. Test your knowledge of notable alumni, key historical events, sports milestones, and fun HBCU facts. Watch out for spaces that can propel you ahead or set you back. And if you get a question wrong, you stay put until your next term. The first to reach graduation wins! The HBCU Trivia Game. Support, educate, entertain! Available now. Let the journey begin.
Right. So again, for more details and to get your board game, visit hbcutrivia.net. Hey, if you use the promo code and you mention your boy, my last name Brown, I even throw you 10% off the sale. So again, hbcutriviagame.net. Use the promo code Brown. Now, let's get back to the conversation at hand. Let me see if Shane knows the answer to the trivia question. Oh, there you go. Shane, hold on. Let me get to you. Hold on, my bad. Move to there. You go, bruh. So what do you think the answer is?
So on top, off top of my head, I'm gonna go with, and because we at Tuskegee, I'm gonna go with Booker T. Washington. I'm gonna go there.
Congratulations, you're wrong.
Okay.
All wrong.
So
tried, though.
This is me metaphorically buzzing in. Who are Frederick D. Patterson and Mary McLeod Bethune?
Yes.
I'm gonna take a drink to that loss.
I genuinely thought he was going to go ask ChatGPT while he was off screen.
I was giving him time.
I didn't want to. So the reason why I even go or even went with the answer Booker T. Washington, because you are
a legacy,
right? And I just thought, okay, he was the first principal of Tuskegee Institution that was founded in 1881. So I kind of wanted to lean that way just because of the conversation, but
I get it.
Yeah.
But no, in all honesty, it was Frederick Douglass Patterson, who was our third president at Tuskegee University. Okay. He was also the founding member the founder of our Tuskegee University College of Veterinary Medicine, which, by the way, a little bit of a big deal, graduating home with 75% of the nation's African-American veterinarians. Just thought I'd put that out there.
There we go.
Hey, Roger, let me go get up out of here. It's been fun. We're having a great conversation, but if you did not know, this is one of our favorite segments we have on the show where we like to wrap it up and talk some light, some joy, and some good news. So we call this segment Habari Gani, Swahili word for what is the news. So we will allow you to go first and share. You can share any good news, anything that's happening professionally, personally, something maybe for you or for others that you want to share in today's Habari Gani moment.
Man, so the good news is it's not too late to apply to Tuskegee University. If you're out there, if you're listening, it's not too late. Applications will actually be open for the fall of 2025 all the way up until July 1st of this year. So there's still plenty of time, space, and opportunity to get those applications in to not only elevate yourselves, but improve your opportunities. So yes, please remember that this is where your journey to greatness begins. Outside of that, I'm still in Cleveland. I'm going to be here for another couple of days. If you got questions, I've got answers. Feel free to reach out to me over on Instagram, or you can hit me up via email. Or if you know how to get into contact with Mr. Brown, if you know how to get into contact with Anthony Brown, you can get into contact with me. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. Like I said, you got questions, I got answers. The man from admissions. That's just like the man from Toronto, except I'm slightly taller.
Ah! Shane, what's your good news? What's your Habari Gani this week, sir?
Listen, man, I am excited for my father, who will be graduating. I said this in the show earlier, but I'm excited. He will be graduating with his doctorate in divinity. And I am super, super proud and excited for him, from somebody who is coming from pretty much nowhere to where he's at right now. And guess what? Our graduation will be on the same day. So we'll be two Dr. Kanes on the same day and the same time. So I am absolutely proud of him. Yes, sir. So that's my good news. Oh,
that is amazing.
I'm retiring in 6 days. So yeah.
Definitely congratulations to you for that. And listen, let's see. My good news is, oh my gosh, it's always listen. I'm always good. I get my go-tos. I woke up this morning, but no, beyond that, I think my other good news is that I am appreciative of the fact that Roger came to Cleveland, and we were able to go into a number of schools within the Northeast Ohio, Greater Cleveland area to really show some love to some scholars, 11th and 12th graders. Quite a couple students were able to get their applications still in. A few students even got accepted, and that was absolutely amazing. So that is the good news I want to share. As he said, it is not too late. Please, for more information, hit him up at the man from admissions. Find him on Instagram. They have that. Now, listen, before we wrap, I want to give a big and huge thank you to our guest for today, Roger Gray IV, for stepping into the HBCU Man Cave and laying down some powerful insights, bro.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Thank you, man.
As I like to say, Brother Brown, my business is life itself.
And also, so now before we get out of here, I don't know, Roger, do you have any other final thoughts you want to share with our listening and or viewing audience?
Gosh, the only thing I do believe I would like to share at this particular junction is that, gentlemen, if you're out there, if you're watching, if you're listening, you can be more. You can do more, but you're not going to do it staying where you are. Out there is where you find your opportunity. Out there is where you find your elevation. Out there is where you will find your destiny. You have to get out there and go find it.
You, Shane, you heard that?
Listen, it can't get no more plain than that.
That was it.
It's pretty plain.
That was the post right there. That's gonna be the Instagram post right there.
It's out there. It's out there.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun, but we got to run. Again, to learn more about the HBCU Man Cave and historically Black sense, you can go to our website at www.hbcusense.com. You can find us with our own Instagram page, HBCU Man Cave. As always, I'm your boy, your cousin, your uncle, and your best friend. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the HBCU Man Cave, a safe space where men can relate, relax, and release. Until next time, stay strong, stay proud, and stay Black.